That's great. So how did it come about that? That's a good point to start. How did it come about that you got Eric on board?
So Eric Clapton, he was watching a live stream where we were playing in Hyde Park at the end of a gig, at the end of a protest.
So what are the restrictions on you that you are flouting, basically? You know, I mean, what are there no gigs allowed at the moment anywhere generally, or what's the status?
But in their world, in Scotland and Wales, and in Scotland and Wales, you can't actually go to like nightclubs and venues with more than 500 people, or if they open after 12, that means you can't go to it. In Ireland, they have vaccine, like medical passports, so I don't think you can even go to a pub.
Right.
You can't sit down inside a pub. I've been there, so I've seen it. It is really happening. But in England, it doesn't seem to be too much of a hindrance on people's lives.
Yeah, they started in I agree with you. As a living man, we can make our own path. And this is the great thing about the last couple of years. It's brought a lot more education and enlightenment about our status as legal entities in a commerce system, and the difference between being a living man, woman, or child, and that. So it's brought a lot more attention, certainly from myself and my wife. We've learned a lot more about that. And it's been very empowering. But the mandates, which of course are an offer as well, in New South Wales kicked in last weekend, and we started going live. You've obviously led the way with the Jam for Freedom, being the live element has been crucial to what you're doing. We've brought that on now. The first element was just bringing, because the movement that I started was kicked off because the music industry in Australia started something called Vaccination. So they had 400 musicians, and most of all big labels, I'm sure all of them actually, but the big labels and the touring festivals, etc., all were on board. And I just thought there's too many musicians in Australia have done too little. And I thought we had to do something, and it's good because it's bringing people together who at least it just shows that there are more out there. You know, like you mentioned, the media does not show how many musicians are against forcing anyone to do anything. And so at least we're giving a voice to that. But these mandates, so they're coming in, and rather than fighting them, which is, I think, good too for people that want to do that, I've been sharing sort of truth or information for 18 months and in that way fighting or opposing the narrative. Now I just want to get on with making an alternative, because it's just they've taken too much away from us all for too long. We just got to get back to living our lives how we want. And so if that means doing gigs that aren't inside venues that are enforcing these mandates, well, then that's what we do. If that means doing festivals that don't, that are on private land, that don't put those prerequisites on people, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's the future, man. Like this is rock and roll. This is how it was made. This is we're just continuing that legacy, and that's what people have said, repeated. This is like the 60s. This is like what it was. They're telling everyone there to fight in Vietnam, kill random Vietnamese people, no reason. They're doing the same thing. You got to take this, this injection, and if you don't, you're not a patriot. What? It's just the same concept. So we are just the natural backlash against it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Campbell. What I'm amazed at is that more people can't see it.
Hey, it's humanity. I guess we all have our own flaws, or we're living in our own worlds. Like that's whatever.
Yeah.
They'll join if we'll just keep having fun, and if we have enough fun, they'll join us, like they did with the 60s movement. They all want to join that. I mean, this is what it's going to be like, man.
My brother did a new logo for us, and I asked him if he could incorporate the peace sign.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm yet to find out what the there'll be some other meaning that someone will say that means, but whatever. But someone said, "Oh, it reminds." Hey.
But it's the Asian girl pose.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, makes your face look small. That's
Oh,
what
does
she
it?
told me.
Oh, good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Right, it does. You're right. I
You
got
look
big
very
hands.
cute. You look very cute.
Tip jar, tip jar. Is that how it works? I don't know. As someone said, it reminded them of Woodstock, and well, I reckon that's. I really did. Personally, I turned a corner when I got all these musicians coming in, because I put my name on that list, mate, and I thought in Australia, I thought I might be the only one. No one's going to care, and no one's going to want to be associated. You know, I'd already been sort of criticised for my views, and now it's 189, I think. So, and lots of people from overseas, as you're doing with your international hookups now too.
Yeah, dude. There's just we gotta stay true to ourselves, and that's what life's about. And that makes life fun. That makes life fun when we stay true to ourselves and what our our goals are. We make sure we achieve them, or we work hard to make it happen. And this is just an element of that. It's not just about music. It's about philosophy in general, and
And I think
being
that's
brave.
a good point, and it's important to be clear on our philosophy, particularly when building a movement, if you will, because it doesn't take much for people to, they already need encouragement to sort of get out of their comfort zone. A lot of people to actually own their feelings, because I think most people believe in freedom of choice. They've been convinced that to suppress some people have been convinced to suppress that value to appear as though you are doing the best for the community. So there's a whole lot of techniques and word magic that they use to disempower people from what I believe are most people's feelings, which is you do you, I'll do me. If we don't hurt each other, we're cool, right? So if you want to put something in your body, you do that. If I don't, and I'm not hurting you, but anyway. So I had people. I bring that up because I had people sort of ask, well, what does your list stand for? What am I signing up for? And you can say freedom in one word, freedom of choice in a phrase. You can say no. Now they're coming for discrimination and segregation. They're trying to say we can't use those words. So I always preface it by medical segregation. We're against medical segregation, medical discrimination, and medical segregation. So that's what we're against, but we are for inclusion. And I really try to stress the positive aspect of that message. It's open for all. We've got at least one musician who took at least one vaccination, and she's still on the list because she decided not to get the second one, but because she believes in that freedom of choice, and she doesn't want to do shows or encourage a gig economy or community that is based on segregation. Show us your papers. It's not very rock and roll.
It's not rock and roll. Where have all the rebels gone? We're the rebels, man. And it's
Hey, that
nice
song, that song is a ripper that you did, mate. It's really powerful.
Yeah, well, that's the lyric. Our one is powerful, but that's Eric and Van's. Where have all the rebels gone?
Oh, that one, yeah, sorry, yeah.
We wrote a song, "Life of a Rebel," in response to that.
Right. Well, I loved Van's first one that I heard that he did, which was the No More Lockdowns, and
yeah,
it was so.
That inspired me. That did inspire me to kind of take the mask off, because I wore it a few times. I wore the mask a few times.
Yep.
And then in December, they locked down the whole country, especially London. They locked down London, so I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't, play any gigs because it was too cold outside, and there was no venues open. So I was like, okay, yeah, you want to try this? You're not getting away with it. We're going to be jamming for freedom. So I was telling everyone, and all my musician friends, posting on all the forums. I think I literally had one person join me, and it was a drummer, Felipe Amori, absolute legend, Brazilian drummer. And we got a backing track up. Like, I can't play guitar too well. I'm a drummer and a singer, but I couldn't sing then. Anyway, so I was just singing a few songs in Hampstead Heath, North London, and that was it. That was the first one on the first day of the national lockdown, and it's just grown since then. But now I can sing, I think, quite well, and it's been a crazy journey, man. over 100 shows internationally. Yeah, I don't know how this has happened. I'm here. It's October. So much more to do. It's exciting, man.
So you've literally found your voice during this time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was about to launch a functions band, like a weddings band. I paid like money, and I was like, that was my band. I was leading the band. I set it up. So I'm ambitious to be in the music industry, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. You're not going to stop me.
Mm.
You're not going to stop an ambitious man building an economy.
Well, you know, they've taken away the livelihood of so many people, and while we're recovering from the shock of that happening to us and our friends and family, we need to move on and accept the reality or what's happened, and go, all right, well, okay, it's not going to keep happening like this. I'm going to go out there, and, you know, because I didn't do a gig for a long time, because you know, most of the venues had shut, all the venues had shut down. And it sort of gets in your brain. It's like, you sort of almost, I sort of released that, because, you know, I could still write and record at home. So I've got a music outlet. You know, I love writing and recording and creating music. So I've never been as productive as I have been over the last, you know, 18 months. But that gigging element, going out there and connecting with people, it's so important, as you know, and what you've done. And, you know, and building that, the economy, and is really important too, I think. We have to value musicians, and we have to value ourselves first, but we have to find a way to bring together people that value music again. There's two aspects to what's going on, I think, with this revolution that we're part of, mate.
Totally, man.
It's the government. It's realizing that the government aren't an ally. They're in fact an enemy, in so much as they tax and restrict us as free creative people, and, you know, to live and create and share. And there's another element to it, which is this awakening of the truth and our spirit, and part of that is valuing creativity. We have been trained to devalue it over the last 20 years, especially. I remember the time before CDs, then there was CDs, and then there was just digital downloads, then there was the aggregators who gave it away. So people are so used to getting their music basically for free now, and that's what, you know, I am focused on remedying, because the musicians need to be paid, basically, and they need to be valued, and that value comes from the audience. But like I said, we've been so conditioned to undervalue and devalue it, that you know, that's the challenge, I think, too.
Yeah, definitely. We can change that. We can change it how we want to change it. I think we're already in a type of a revolution. It might not be the one where we cut people's heads off, but it's definitely some kind of a revolution that is happening. Yeah, I mean, it's totally, you know, it's not just about building an economy, but it's like just doing what's right for the future, for the kids, for the nation. Like, when I was looking into what lockdown has done to child abuse, domestic abuse, depression, obesity, suicide, I was like, this isn't worth it. So actually, the second gig we did, we went out of my hometown to Watford. We played a gig, me and Felipe. Rebel News covered this because a guy came along to help us out and hand out leaflets, hand out our first leaflet, which was basically just Jam for Freedom, our logo, and then this is why lockdowns don't work. Follow our Telegram page with just no idea what we're going to do with it, but just stop the lockdowns, you know, guys, and just, you know, let us get back to normal, right? Didn't happen. Nothing's gone back to normal. But the guy handing out those leaflets, I think it was police van turned up, like maybe 9, I think it was like 12 police maybe. You see it all on the video. And they're like, you gotta stop handing out leaflets and standing close to people. That's illegal. It's not. I don't believe it's illegal, because you have the right the right to petition under the Bill of Rights. Anyway, he got arrested. That was on our second show. Someone got arrested on our second show. Someone part of the Jam Freedom community. So yeah, man, that's just another epic story, epic, crazy. I don't know what you want to call it, but Andy, the guy that got arrested, you know, you know, he's definitely inspired some people by his bravery there. But it's about the mental health. It's about so many things. And the truth is, you know, the story from that is that was our second show, and that we then went on to play, I think, about 1 or 2 shows a week for the next 3 weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And we then raised enough money through our GoFundMe to get a motorhome to rent for a few weeks to travel the whole of the UK. When they were telling us, oh, you're going to stay 7 miles, we're like, no, we're going to Scotland and Wales. Thank you very much. Bye. And we got it. Then I got arrested, and then the guy that owned the motorhome found out, and the police told him, oh, he's playing drugs. He's a naughty boy. And then I had to give the vehicle back. And now that GoFundMe got taken down a few hours ago.
Did it?
Because it's breached the you know, the policy. So I don't know what I breached by putting on beautiful shows for people that unite hundreds of thousands of people. But whatever, man, we'll make our own. You can donate online at our website. You know, we don't need GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how so much of the media, and by the media I mean everything, you know, GoFundMe, or all the mediums that we exchange through, which is all digital now, are so easily controlled. My Bandcamp, my personal music Bandcamp, got deplatformed after I released Free the Nation single, just a song I wrote to spread the word about the feelings that Free the Nation music are embodying, and the values. And it's just a simple folk song. There's no swearing, there's no cries for violence or anything. It's very, very, luckily it's still on Spotify. Every day I check in my Spotify account, I'm like, oh, it's still there. So, but you know, once that's happened a few times, I had a Patreon blog that was deplatformed as well. And my Instagram page for my music was deplatformed at about 10, 15,000, I can't remember, people. So I've started a new one. But once you get used to it, once that happens, and you know that you're going to keep going, it's sort of like, and I think you can probably relate, you're going to keep going, whatever happens. So it's just sort of, it almost gives you more resolve. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going down that road anymore. We're going over here. So you just got to keep on going. And it's great that we're meeting up. And I know there's a lot of Americans on our list, and I know that you're connecting with them as well. I'm thinking now, because, you know, you contacted about what we're going to do together. There's, I guess, I don't know how long term, but one thing is I'm getting inquiries from musicians in Australia now who are saying, oh, where can I play up where you are? You know, so they're trying to find out where they're going to start. The borders in Victoria are supposed to open 1st of December, or whatever. That's right, crazy borders are closed, but anyway. So people are starting to organise their tours or whatever, and they want to know where they can play. And there's no reason why we can't, you know, create this international network at the minimum, Cambel, where we can. I know I can trust you, and if Cambel says you can play this joint, and this is what he's got to do, you know, that how cool that would be. You know, I want to do a festival here. We've done one street gig. We've got another one tonight. And I've just put a banner up on a property, and I met the woman there, and she was lovely. And now I'm going to hopefully convince her to put a little show on there. But I want to do a festival. And I thought, you know, we've got to dream big. And I thought, well, why don't we invite Eric Clapton and Van Morrison to headline? We're right in Byron Bay, right? Now there's talk that the Byron Bay Music Festival is going to be a jabbed only event, which blows my mind if they end up going through with that. But I know that certain artists have been presented with new contracts that say if the government says so, that it has to be they have to be vaccinated, that they'll have to be. So I'm pretty, and I know that there's been other vaccine-only shows already in Australia, and I know there's more coming up. There's one in Melbourne and at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl, and again, that's double jabbed. So even the idea what vax is, that's going to change. The Premier of Victoria said that, you know, you'll need boosters. So they're just going to keep changing that. And I think that'll wake more people up and turn more people back to the Freedom page. But yeah, what do you think about this? Just like being able to, are there venues that you can play at all or not now in in London or around London?
Yeah, in England it's quite laid back at the moment. But as I said, like these other people, you know, they're compliant. They exist in this world where, you know, they don't, you know, taking care of their own immune system. They just trust the government, and they're not brave enough, or they haven't got the energy to fight back. So whatever it is, they're in their matrix. What we're doing is we've started a campaign called the Free House Declaration, which is where venues can just sign up. All they're going to do is say that they'll stay open during lockdowns, and they will never discriminate against people medically. And for that, they get a free Jam for Freedom festival, bring everyone along, have a good party. Yeah, everyone's welcome. You know, tickets are free, and we then put them on the website, and then it's just you know, a resource for people to just see it and then find out, hey, where can I put my money where my mouth is? Oh, you can go to that venue in Weston-super-Mare, that venue in Stroud, that venue in Mid Wales, that venue in South Shields, Newcastle. You know, we're building up the list. Halifax, Sheffield, and one in Essex, one in London. There's not a huge amount. There's a great one in Leicester, the Dog and Gun pub. We played that twice. But the amount that we do have, you know, it's enough. Like,
yeah,
I mean, if there's one venue in every city, then we go and we support them, and that's where the good vibes will be. So yeah, we can get something going like that, you know, in Australia. I mean, if we've had Americans and Canadians sign our Free House Declaration. So, I mean, if musicians want to go and do that, then we can trade the information, and then, you know, you guys can go play gigs there and support them, and, you know, we can just help each other out, man. We're gonna just take this by the balls and just lead the revolution and just keep inspiring people to stay strong and be brave.
One of the ideas I've had is that because there's a lot of real pressure and a lot of perceived pressure from the government with these mandates, and a lot of people are not aware of their true rights, even within the commerce system, the legal system that we are subject to when we enter into it. So a lot of smaller venue owners or some venue owners, just like there's a local brewery, and they just went along with the, you know, scanning in, you know, you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And they didn't ask the questions about our rights for privacy, and they weren't interested in that. A lot of them are scared of the fines. You know, the government can fine me, and they push that a lot here. If you've got good legal representation, those fines won't mean anything because they go against, you know, federal law and basic human rights. So without saying anything that's legal advice, if my idea is that if I can get access to a legal representative that is willing to fight any case that we might have, and I can present that as a backup to venues and go, look, we'd like to do a show here. And they go, but what about the fines? I go, we'll cover it. If there's any fine, our barrister will challenge it, and if we could actually cover those fears for them. But at the same time, I want to go to places that are already fighting first. And like you said, you only need one venue in one city, and then your tour's taken care of, really, you know. Yeah, but I mean, that's probably getting a bit ahead in terms of international touring, because what they are doing with the flights and all that, we're still yet to find out how heavily they're going to enforce vaccinations on international flights, which they're making a lot of noise that they will. But again, there might be ways through that system as living men and women. Somehow we'll find out. I've started to put on music businesses and music industry onto our list in a different category of musicians that support freedom, basically, and oppose the discrimination. And I guess if I could add music venues to that, that would be the first step to do something that's along the lines of what you're doing with the Free House Declaration. It's funny that the Free House, because for people in Australia, they won't know that means basically pub in England, a free house, house where everyone can be free and relax.
Yeah, man, that's our ancestors who worked really hard to you know, to fight for freedom, and that's the Bill of Rights, and that's a great thing, right? And everyone should have access to that. I think it's a great universal idea that was created in England, really. That's something we can all learn from. Everyone should be free, all cultures. I mean, we've got an event planned, a collaboration, I should say, in Canada, and this is happening in an indigenous village where people have moved there to kind of live a natural life. It's going to be phenomenal. Like, oh, I can't wait. But what I'm saying is freedoms for all cultures. Yeah, it might be within the Australian and British Constitution, the Bill of Rights, which gives you the right to petition and play outside whenever you want, which is how we've been able to do it because we class it as a protest, right? So that we're fine. Like, it's not an issue. But everyone should be free. They're never gonna win. They're never gonna beat us because we have the energy, we have the dedication, we have the creativity, like you said. You know, we might not be following the rules, but bad rules are meant to be broken, so we're going to keep breaking them.
And that's why it's making it so easy for us, Campbell, to carry this rock and roll spirit, because we both understand that it's very simple thing. It's just it's trusting yourself, and it's trusting love, and love embodies freedom and acceptance and all those things. It's so easy, really, because anything else that's forcing someone else to do something, or bullying or coercing, is not love. It's not acceptance. It's not freedom. And so, you know, it's a real simple choice to for some of us. And I think that it'll become easier. I know it's becoming easier for people because, say, we had mask mandates and QR coding, so people had to scan in to go to. You know, when I say had to, I mean they're told to. No one has to, right? My personal belief is you don't have to follow anything, but people were told they have to wear face masks, and they were told they have to scan in. A lot of people are doing that. Now they've moved it up to you have to have double vaccination in order. A lot of people are going, oh, that's my line in the sand. I was willing to put the self-suffocate, you know, so I didn't get attention from people at the shop or whatever. I was willing to pretend I signed in. But now this thing, I mean, of course, you've already got teenagers and young people and others who are getting fake passes, you know, so they're pretending that they've got the double jab. So people are getting around it that way. But then you've also got people who are just coming out and saying, I'm not going to do that. So our side, if you will, is already growing as they try to be more forceful and more brutal and show more tyranny. It's bringing out more courage, and more people are stepping up and going, I'm not going to go along with this any longer. So I think the future's bright. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer season here and the festivals. There's a lot of people that have already been, you know, there's acts like, I don't know if you ever heard of an act called Midnight Oil, but they were a very political act in the 80s predominantly. And they were one of Australia's favourite bands for their idealism and standing up. And then they came out and joined the vaccination movement. And so many people were commenting on Instagram, you know, I can't believe you guys. I'm so let down, you know, I'm burning all your albums. I bring that up to highlight that there's a lot of that going on in Australia and around the world, where music fans are feeling really deflated by their heroes who haven't stood up when it counts. But what is also happening is that new heroes, new musical artists with integrity are showing themselves, and they're from everywhere, you know. And just like you, just getting up. It was funny, the first person to add their name after mine was a drummer as well. So we need that beat. There's something about it that's very instinctive. That who can stop you banging a drum? You know, like, I'm banging a drum. Get out of my way. If you don't like it, nick off. Well, what's interesting too, we're going into summer, and you guys going into winter, obviously. So they'll probably, it looks like that they will step up the old lockdown and game in the Northern Hemisphere as we sort of supposedly set free. There was a lot of talk that Melbourne was the like testing ground, you know, and I think that was true, because it was also, in a way, it's either behind or ahead, but it's ahead of the cycle in terms of the seasons and how they can use winter as the excuse for, you know, when the flu comes back, they just, you know, rename it, and then, oh, we've got to have these lockdowns, basically. So I'm mindful that we're possibly going to be watching more aggression, certainly, upon the people of the Northern Hemisphere, just as we go into sort of a more supposed freeing time. And perhaps in some way we can be the beacons of light during the darkness for the other part of the world, if you know what I mean. So remind, like, people, I know that when I share video of people just enjoying themselves, other people are on, where's this? There's no one wearing a mask. I want to be there. You know, where's that gig? I can't believe that I'm not there. So yeah. I know that it does help people, and what you're doing, you know, showing people just making music does really inspire.
Yeah, man. Well, if countries want to lock down, that's where the Free House Declaration comes in. We'll be, you know, we're already on tour at only these venues, and if we got to go back to them, you know, twice every couple of months because we just love it so much, we're going to do it. We're going to keep going back and supporting the right places and make sure they rock and roll every month, man. We'll be non-stop all around these beautiful freedom venues. So they can try and lock us down, but you know, they are attacking their own culture. If the authorities want to stop live music and stop freedom, then they're degrading their own culture and their own ancestors that worked hard to defend it. And yeah, it's just a real shame that they're going after the money instead of defending their culture, which affords them so many liberties to make money doing things, you know, doing other things. And that's what we do. That's what we're doing at Jam for Freedom, and we're doing at Free the Nation. Is we're building an economy and giving people opportunities and inspiration to build that economy, that new world. You know, the phoenix rising from the ashes, where we've learned the lessons from the past, and we're going to secure a brighter future for everyone. And yeah, like you said, with Midnight Oil, there's a lot of bands out, you know, famous people, whatever, that we've grown up to admire and almost like worship. And I think that's wrong as well. That's where a lot of this has come in. Is it's like, you know, we shouldn't be admiring people. We should be maybe inspired by them. But this kind of whole like Hollywood culture of like Hello magazine of like, oh, this is what Britney Spears did yesterday. And this is her picture of her walking to her car and all that. It's totally fake and it's boring. It's not rock and roll, man. Rock and roll is, you know, everyone's the same. You know, we drink at the same pubs. You know, we say what we say what we think. We say the truth, and we say it from the heart, and we bring people together, man. And it's this exciting life, and that's what people have been missing. That's why we're here. We are that energy, man.
There you go.
They're never gonna stop us.
So what I'm just thinking as we're chatting about these gigs and just it's good to get like, say, like I touched on, that Free House has a different meaning in UK than we would know it here. But something like, you know, do we start with, you know, even just a hashtag that we could both share, maybe like Freedom Gig. I think Alex from Sonic Universe in the States, he mentioned that term. He said, I'm waiting for the Freedom Gigs. Or I don't know, maybe it's something different, but something that we could hashtag for the live events. So when we do live events, we can also go Freedom Gig. Oh, there's a Freedom Gig happening in, you know, or something like that. Jam the Freedom is your brand, if you will. So Jam the Freedom is great for you, but like also I want to also promote just you know, normal concerts. So it's a band that's on, so they're doing their thing. So have you got an idea about a hashtag or something that we could share to promote those events?
I don't know. Maybe chuck them all in. Jam for Freedom, Free the Nation, Free House, Freedom Jam, Freedom Gig. I mean, it's it's all pretty much the same thing, isn't it? But yeah, it is cool. Like, we're going to be in winter, so we're going to be doing gigs indoors, and then you'll probably be doing them outside. So you're kind of like, you guys were locked down for ages, right? And you had all this, although you weren't locked down, and then now you're locked down. So you were doing normal stuff, and now you can't do anything. Right? Not to be pessimistic, I'm sure you're doing a lot of things, right? So it's now like you guys are going to have that summer, and then we're going to be in. So what you'll probably end up doing is probably what we've been doing, which is playing on the streets, playing in the parks, having these awesome like freedom festivals, where everyone's welcome, where you bring that community together. I think you guys have an amazing time, and I mean we've got a group, a Jam for Freedom in Australia, in Perth, So I mean, maybe they'll just be a link up. Maybe we just do the same event, or whatever. And
Yeah.
we use our power, we use our both of our energies to promote it, and all of our skills and our connections, and we just combine them together, man. Because we're a global brand already in 4 countries, and there's more to come soon. So yeah, it could just you guys it's difficult to find people like yourself who have the skills and the ambition and the bravery to basically stand up for what's right in this period, and do it in an organized way that's actually affecting change, instead of just posting a controversial tweet and then disappearing. Shut up, that's lame. Don't say anything, or just talk shows. Oh, let's talk about what we could know. Do it. Get out on the streets, start a jam for freedom, free the nation. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't go to venues that support medical apartheid, and actually create the economy. That's way more exciting, man. So that's what you're doing. That's what we're doing. So let's make it happen. Let's do a collab event. Let's use both of our energies, both of our fan bases, supporters, to just get together, get involved. Our logo is all happy and fun and family friendly. That's what we're about, as you guys are. So that's our vibe. So it's really welcome. Everyone. It's welcoming. Well, everyone's welcome.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And I noticed you just put up some tour dates. I think on Twitter I saw. So that's really exciting that you've got that coming up.
Yeah. That's pro freedom venues, of course, that are signing the Free House Declaration.
And so how do these events run? Do you what acts go on? Do you play for sets, or what's the structure of them?
Yeah, sure. So it's really whoever. We've toured with an opera singer before, who will do her own set, and then I'll organize local artists to come and sing and play and whatever. We advertise it. But we've done so many of these tours. If you can see, I don't know if this is a mirror, but this is the can you see it? It says January. It says February to March.
Yeah.
So we've been on the road since officially December 20th was the first gig, but we've done non-stop touring for 10 months. So we've had dozens and dozens of musicians come in and join and slot in all across the country. But yeah, our structure is just pretty much, I'm a singer and a drummer. So if I'm needed, if I'm accompanied with a guitarist or a pianist, then I can just hold down a 2-hour set. But I don't always want to, do that all. So I can just, I just pass it on, and we'll be touring with another opera singer next week, and some other great artists will join us on the road. So really, man, it's just about community. It's just about bringing people together. Whoever's free, whoever wants to come and hang out. All of our events have that, great freedom spirit there. So you're going to network, you're going to meet all the right people. A lot of people who are living off grid and who are independent, sustainable. We've done a lot of these protests as well in London, but a lot of that is quite sometimes it's a bit of theatre, kind of shouting at buildings and shouting at police, whereas I'm a bit kind of more into something actually progressing things and networking, which is where events like the Free House tour that we're on, that's where you're going to meet the people that are affecting change, that are spending their time doing more productive things, I would say.
Well, I think the way that we cannot directly help you and is, I know we've got English musicians that are on our list. Now, they might be aware of you, some will be, but some might not, and I can certainly make sure they are. And is there a space for them? If they contact you, can they get on these shows?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody's welcome. We'll take care of you. Whatever donations we make as well. So if we properly organize it, then we can, compensate the musicians as well. Help each other out, man. That's what it's all about. It's all about that networking and getting to know each other. You know, maybe we'll have a freedom super band like Cream. Like, I'm ready, man. Like, we need to have something like that.
Yeah.
And just let's make our own. Let's make our own Hollywood. Let's make our own, you know, new generation of freedom musicians and freedom music, man.
Where did you record
Yeah.
your single?
We recorded that at a producer's house, Leon Itzroy, Leon Itzroy, I should say. So yeah, we just did that in a day, and then did a bit of the production. We had Gonzalo Carrera on keys, Siraj on guitar and bass, and then we had Anya O'Grady, Archie McDonald, Archie Eccentric, Vivian Bartes on backing vocals as well. And I sung the lead and did the drums. So yeah, it's a fun track, man. And yeah, it's my first song I've ever made.
It's what?
My first song I've like released.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh man, well that's pretty good, isn't it? To have that your first song. And have you got another one coming up?
We got a few. We recorded a few others. But we're thinking of doing a response to Eric Clapton's "This Has Got to Stop," because the Life of a Rebel is kind of a response to Where Have All the Rebels Gone, and now the new song "This Has Got to Stop," which featured our logo, which is what prompted us to get a lot more international attention, and that's how Jam for Freedom Australia started. The guys over in Perth, Western Australia, who run their own Jam for Freedom, they emailed me on the day, John and Ben. They said, "Oh, how can we get involved? We want to do one." I went, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And then next week, I think they were out at a protest. They got the T-shirts, they got the logo, repping, playing in front of big crowds in Perth. We played to 10,000 people the other week in Perth. So it's just incredible, man. But for the next song, we think it's going to be a response to "This Has Got to Stop," and it's going to be how it's going to stop, and it's going to tell people how it's going to stop, how we're stopping it, and the revolution and the change we're building. Because, you know, people like Eric, I mean, they've done all the hard work. They've been touring for like, you know, 50, 60 years, right? Exhausting, man. You know, they've done a lot to bring smiles and hope to people with their beautiful music. And now is our time. Eric has said this when I met him for the first time. We were talking about our children and the future and education. And I said, you know, Eric, we've got to change it. He said, "No, Campbell, you've got to change it." And I went, oh, yes, you're right. I mean, I'm like 27, man. Like, why am I asking a 74-year-old man to change the world? It's down to us now. It's down to us.
Yeah.
They've passed the baton to us. And if Eric and Van can come and play a festival in Byron, I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah. And you?
Fingers crossed. And I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
The Jam for Freedom band.
Yeah, man.
I'll introduce you. I'll introduce you. It'll be a beautiful day, Campbell.
Let's do it, man. I love Byron Bay. I lived in Australia for a year.
Yeah.
I was actually going to study law in Australia before this started, man.
Right.
How funny is that? How ironic, eh?
It's very ironic.
Now I've got a lawyer helping me out to get out of a £10,000 fine, but it's cool. We're good. We've got an amazing defense statement, 23 pages.
Yeah.
And we're hoping it scares them off. Because
I'm sure it will. I feel good light around you, mate, and only more good energy. I will certainly put the word out to all of the musicians and to get in touch with you and, you know, get behind you. There's one I really hope would get in, Tim Briffett from My Drug Hell. He's written a couple of great songs. I don't know. I know he's in London, but anyway, I'll get on to those people. I might even directly email them. I'll put a post on. If you want to send any message that would help us, it would be simply that people add their name. That's all we ask, just to build the numbers, so that if they want to add their name to the list of Freedom Nation music musicians, with basically supporting freedom and choice and opposing discrimination and segregation based on vaccination. That's our simple thing. That would be great. And and now we've had this conversation, got acquainted. I'm sure we can come up with other ways to help each other and help the single movement of freedom, really, basically.
Yeah, let's use these talents, use these energies, because there's not many people like us, man. There really isn't, and it's valuable. So we gotta make it work. We gotta work together, and look at the bigger picture.
That's great. What time is it there now? About
It's 12 past 12.
12 past
Yeah,
12.
12 past 12.
Midnight. Oh, well done. Sorry to keep you
Yeah.
up, but I
Burning the
thought,
midnight oil. No, it's good, man. I'm grateful. Like, I'm staying at home. My sister's babies. I've got to be quiet now. It's
okay.
good. Perfect timing. But yeah, unless you want to keep talking.
No, that's all good. Did you say your sister's babies?
Yeah, my nephew.
Your nephew.
He's upstairs.
You're not a father yet?
No, there's a cop, but that's not mine. I'm a father of Jab for Freedom. It's
You
just my
are.
baby.
You are. And I
So,
think it's fantastic what you're doing, mate.
I don't know how this all happened. You know, we thought this would just fucking end in like a month, and we were like, you know, I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Like, why am I on the streets getting old women shout at me, like, playing music in my hometown? I feel embarrassed. And then I just went to London, and then people were just liking it, and I was like, yeah. And I got my hair cut live because I obviously hairdressers had to close, so we got someone to cut my hair in January, and it was fucking freezing by the Thames. He couldn't cut my hair properly, but it looked really cool. I'm drumming, and he's like cutting my hair, and I'm like, people are walking by, I'm like, yeah. So this is in support of, you know, freelance workers and, you know, self-employed. And then we got the motorhome, and then we got that. Then I got arrested. Then we did the Hyde Park show in April or March, April, and then Eric's watching it, and then Eric gives us some money, and then that helped us keep going. Then we got a band of musicians because we've been to Manchester, so we've met some cool musicians from Manchester who wanted to join us on the tour. Then I had an accident with the car. I said, hey Eric, we've had an accident with the car. It's written off. Can you help? And then the next day he said, you can borrow our VW transporter in that picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. So and then I met him, and then it was cool because he was just really digging what we were doing, because we were the only touring band in the UK, because everyone else, there was literally no other touring band, and I just found it really funny. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, this is rock and roll. This is what I grew up thinking life should be, right? You know, this is rock and roll. This is what they all did. Why am I the only one doing it, right? but then another punk band started touring in like May, and then they were like, hey, we're also touring, take it down. And we're like, okay, so now we're the world's only touring Jam. So whatever, man. And that's kind of what we are now. But yeah, mate, that's pretty much our story. Now we're international, featured on Steve Bannon's show and Eric Clapton's video, which has really helped us keep going and network.
He put you in a video, did he?
Yeah, in Eric Clapton's song "This Has Got to Stop," our logo is like part of the song.
Right. Great.
Yeah, really cool.
Well, it's going to be exciting to see what comes for all of us in the near future, because more people, I know, you know, I'm meeting people and they're helping me, and I'm surprised and so grateful, and I go, oh wow, thanks for that, you know, and they're helping in ways, because it's, you know, it's a cause beyond us, and we've come to it in our own ways for our own reasons, but it's because we're part of something that's essential for the world at the moment.
Freedom, like music sparks like a fire in people that makes them want to live better, I think, or inspires them in many ways. Everyone's unique, so I think that's what it is, and it's universal language. So yeah, man, let's make it happen. We'll send over some Aussie musicians to sign up, and if you can send over some English ones, we'll just link up our communication, maybe, and like link up the media.
Yep.
To whatever works for you.
Yep.
What else could we do? And then just like a collaboration event, to just show off both. You know,
maybe we can think about doing something around Christmas, because something that's just all about the family, the heart. That's not such a political message. Not that this is especially political, but won't be viewed that way. Just almost that it happens to be us, you know, that we're connecting across space and time, across space anyway. And I don't know, maybe it's a Christmas song that we put together with everyone playing on it.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Cool. I like that. Let's make that happen. Christmas song, perfect. Yeah, on it. And yeah, we can get, you know, some musicians to help, and then you can do your guys. I mean, like, we did our first Jam for Freedom Day with 4 countries, so like we can just keep internationally doing events. Like, I think we'll have a couple in the US.
Maybe it's the International Freedom Band or something that we,
yeah,
you know, something like that. Or maybe there's a fun way to put it, and we can get, you know, a better. I do my own production, and I'm pretty good, but you know, there's obviously very talented engineers and producers out there, and maybe this is the way that we can open up for them to be involved, as we say, you know, we've got all these tracks that need to be sorted of the song, and so I've got a couple ideas. I've got a song that might be worth it. I might try and write something else, and obviously you can too. We can throw out whatever we think into the mix, and maybe we do a couple songs so that we've both got, you know. Or if we decide on one, we do that. But I think that's a good, and we've got enough time. What are we now? Friday, October, November. Yeah, we've got like 6 weeks. We have to get onto it because you'd want it, you know, ready to go. I'm saying 6 weeks before the end of November, because then we've got plenty of time. And yeah, that'll be a really nice thing to lift people's spirits.
Yeah, we could like I like that. Yeah, because I'm so busy doing this. Like, I'm a songwriter, but I've only managed to like release 1 song this year. It's a good song, but yeah, some more would be nice.
Well, you know, you only need one good song to get the attention, and it's that song that you've written and recorded. It just took me back to England. It's got such a vibe of that a Brit rock. It's got punk feel to it. It's got, you know, that swagger that we love out of Britain, and so, you know, better to have one good song than a whole lot of shit ones anyway, that's for sure. So
yeah, we worked hard on it. We did work hard. It came to me, I made it up in the shower over 2 showers.
You were clean at the end of that songwriting too.
Yeah, I'm a dirty and clean man at the same time. It's a dirty song. Yeah, so maybe like, because you do like some really cool social media posts, right? Like with the texts and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe like a post where it's like announcing our partnership, and then you can say like Jam for Freedom, supported by Eric Clapton and Van Morrison.
Right.
Over 100 international jams made of liberty.
Yep.
And then that's one half, and then your half is plus Free the Nation. Over 200, I reckon it'll be over 200 artists.
It will be by
over
then.
200 artists signed up, whatever.
That's great.
I can't think of a tagline for you yet.
That's okay. Now we've met and we can sort of have a bit more of an idea what each other's about. I think we can definitely help the movement by helping each other.
Yeah. Let's do it, man.
Fantastic. Thanks, Cambel, mate. Thanks for your email and thanks for hooking up.
No worries, man.
Be the first time of many, no doubt.
Let people know our story and know what we're up to, what we're going to be doing.
Sure.
Keep them excited.
That's it.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Cheers, Ben. Take care.
Thanks, mate. See ya.